Hey everyone, this is Laquita with Quita Bug Handmades, and I'm so excited to share today's card with you. It features the Celebrate Today stamp set by Stampin' Up and also the coordinating Balloon Framelits Dies. I'm so excited to share this card with you, so let's go ahead and get started.
This is the card that we're going to be working on today. Uses some pretty simple stamping, but it's really fun to do. And here are the framelits that we're using and the Celebrate Today stamp set. The card also features some Cherry on Top Designer Series paper, Whisper White cardstock, and Pool Party cardstock. And I'll have all the measurements for you on the blog post attached to this video. So we're going to go ahead and start with a piece of Whisper White, and this piece is cut down to 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And we'll start by stamping the solid balloon image that comes in that stamp set. We're going to use Bermuda Bay Classic ink to do that. This is one of my go-to ink colors. I find that I use it all the time. So I'm just going to get this inked up. Need a little bit more there in the middle. Okay. I'm going to stamp on the left side of my cardstock, and I'm going to angle this stamp inward. Sort of left center inward. Give it a good press. Okay, that's not bad. There's a little bit of white space where maybe my stamp wasn't inked all the way, but I don't mind that. This is handmade, so. So I'm going to stamp that same balloon again, but this time in Hello Honey. Ink that up. This is actually one of my favorite Stampin' Up inks so far. So again, I'm going to stamp angling inward, but this time on the right, and give it a press. Very nice. Clean that off using a baby wipe. I don't have the Stampin' Scrub yet by Stampin' Up, but I did order that yesterday, so it should be in pretty soon. Now we're going to stamp the Happy balloon that comes in the set using some Watermelon Wonder, and I'm just using a piece of Scratch Whisper White cardstock. So I'm just going to get this stamp inked up. Press down, and perfect. So I'm just going to get all of my ink put away before we go to the next step. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm using my paper piercing mat as kind of a cushy background for my stamping. That's what that is behind my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get this balloon framelit lined up on my stamped image here. I'm going to run this through my Big Shot, and I will be right back. Okay, I've run this through my Big Shot. It came out perfectly. So now I'm going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black ink to stamp the birthday greeting that also comes in the stamp set. I'm just going to test it. Okay, make sure it's inking up properly. And I want to stamp this in the center just below the Happy. That looks pretty good. Just going to clean my stamp off. And I want to add some dimensionals to the back of this balloon. I want it to be raised above the other balloons. And I think 3 dimensionals should be just fine. And you could probably even use less, but okay, so let's set that to the side, and we're going to do a little bit more stamping on this piece from the beginning, we need to stamp some strings for our balloon. So this skinny string comes in the stamp set. So I'm going to ink it up in some more tuxedo black. And it's a very thin string, so you don't need much ink. So I'm just going to test it and make sure I don't have too much. If you have too much, it actually smudges and splatters a little bit, especially if you use too much pressure. So I'm trying not to get too much ink, and then use light pressure. And I'm going to put the first string in the center. And light pressure. Now I'm going to build my other two strings around that one string. So I'm going to angle my paper and add a string for the Bermuda Bay balloon. And I just want it to overlap that center string down at the bottom. Okay, perfect. Now I'll do the same thing for the Hello Honey balloon. Perfect. Clean off my stamp, and now we can go ahead and add that Watermelon Wonder balloon onto this layer, and I just want it to be in the center and just slightly below the top of my cardstock. I want to leave a little white trim at the top. Right there should do, and give a press once you have it where you want it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get this added to my not Lost Lagoon, what is this? Pool Party. I'm going to add this to my Pool Party cardstock and get all my layers put together. And I'm just using some snail adhesive to do that. Now we're going to add a bow. I've gone ahead and tied one using some blue and white baker's twine. I sort of have two left hands when it comes to tying bows, so I thought that might be a little painful to watch. So I went ahead and did it off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this glue dot up with my thumb and add the bow on top. And then we'll just add this to the front of our card to cover where those three balloon strings meet. And just kind of pretty it up. Okay, that looks good. And then you can just trim off these ends, and I'm just going to trim them so that they're the length of the bottom of the card. Okay, that looks good. And the last thing really is I have these two pieces of scrap, and these pieces were left over after I cut down the designer series paper and the Pool Party cardstock. This is what was left. So I'm just going to layer this designer paper on top of the Pool Party cardstock, and then I will add this in to the inside of my card at the very bottom. So that finishes off today's card. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this card as much as I did. Remember, all of the measurements are available at the blog post beneath this video, and you can purchase any of these supplies by visiting my blog at quetabughandmaids.com. Thank you so much. Bye.